Hi, I'm Billy, and a lot has changed in the streaming world. And what we're going to talk about today, sadly, has now affected Disney Plus. What do I mean? Well, let's start from the beginning. So, almost a year ago, Warner Brothers Discovery removed 30 plus titles from HBO Max in order to cut costs. Now, remember this, as this will be important later. After the content purge, many began to speak out, as they should. But I want to focus on the creator of Infinity Train, Owen Dennis, because he stated some interesting stuff, to say the least. CNBC has estimated that this will likely save Discovery somewhere in the tens of millions of dollars, a very small drop in the bucket of the $3 billion that David Zaslav said he wants to save by 2023. Yeah, it's only a small amount, these residuals. So why don't they just not remove anything? Like, okay, if you're going to remove something, maybe remove something that no one really watched. Then he goes on to talk about how Infinity Train was very popular. I watched it and loved it. But then says how maybe it was underperforming because we don't know for sure. That's the thing with streaming. It's like, who knows how a show is doing? And that is something being discussed a lot right now. If you look at cable, like, you know how it's doing because they have to show you the numbers. But with streaming, it's like they don't have to say anything, or they could just say like it was the most watched Max Original, and you're like, but like, what was the number, you know? But we have Nielsen, and that's the thing. We have like these third parties giving us the numbers. And, well, Netflix has their own charts, but it's not really clear with streaming because they don't have to tell us what's going on. So maybe that'll change in the future. But yeah, regardless of if people watch or not, they have to pay residuals, and that's only a small amount. So why don't they leave this stuff on? Well, there's another reason. Why they do it. Sometimes it's a tax write-off, so basically if it's losing money, they could just pretend like it didn't happen. But with Infinity Train, they privated a bunch of videos from YouTube and deleted a bunch of tweets. And currently they have some of that stuff, back up, but it's just awful. And they removed a popular show like Infinity Train, and then they went ahead and removed even more popular shows. So yeah, more shows removed from streaming. So just a few months later, HBO Max decided to remove even more shows to prep for the merger. Raised by Wolves and The Time Traveler's Wife, Westworld, like so many things. Because now some of these shows will actually, be saved? Like, it's crazy. So now they're going to put some of these shows on a fast service, which is basically Pluto, Roku. So yeah, and they just recently licensed some HBO shows to Netflix. It's like, there was a lot of pushback on that because they're like, HBO shows on Netflix? Like, these are HBO shows. They're supposed to be part of our app. But now they rebrand it to just Max. So stupid, I know. We all thought that Discovery was just going to go into HBO Max and it would just be called HBO Max or Warner Brothers Plus, right? Like, not just Max. Like, what? Like, I kind of get it because they don't want to have all this kid stuff and reality TV, stuff that doesn't really fit. And people are like, oh, that's not HBO. What's this doing here? So I kind of get that, but Max is just so generic. It's stupid. It is. It's, I don't know. It's crazy right now, but yeah. So you can watch some of these shows now on a free service. It's just wow, but yeah, that's the state of streaming right now. But and they didn't just remove a bunch of shows. I mean, Westworld got canceled. Just wow. I don't know what's worse, canceling a bunch of projects mid-production, not giving a final season to one of the most popular shows, or straight out removing stuff that already exists to just not pay the people involved. It's absolutely insane. Now, before we get to Disney Plus and their awful decisions, let's talk about Paramount Plus / Showtime and their removals. So, with the merger of Paramount Plus and Showtime came some removals. The Twilight Zone reboot, the Grease prequel series, Star Trek Prodigy, and of course, Showtime stuff. Let the Right One In, American Gigolo, American Rust, Wakefield, and a show starring Jim Carrey. Kidding. Removed. And they're not kidding with these removals. Let the Right One In is not even available on iTunes or anything. So, like, some of these shows, they don't only get removed. They weren't even available in the first place, like on iTunes at least. So you could buy it. Like Infinity Train, I mean, you could buy that on iTunes. I mean, it's still horrible that it got removed, but at least you could get it somewhere. Like, that's just crazy to me. Some of these shows are like streaming originals, so they don't put them out on, Amazon, iTunes, whatever, right? And so you can't even, like you have to get the app because they want you to subscribe. Like, that's the whole point of an original. And now they're like, some of these shows that since, like, they're not even on iTunes or whatever, so then it's like they remove from streaming and, at least, it stays up on iTunes or whatever at least because they have, like, a contract with them. And I think so it kind of has to stay up, I think. Probably maybe that contract's for, like, a really long time. But it's different because when they get paid, like the actors, the writers, they get paid. So it's like a win-win, So they're making money when they're getting paid. So it's like not like, but with streaming, it's like nobody's watching it, like, and it's costing them money. So that's why they're putting ads now to make it, I guess, a little bit more like cable, so they get more money out of it. But the residuals with streaming are nothing like how it was with cable. So, like, they need to fix it a bit more. They need to they need to get more money, the actors and the writers. So, hence why, like, everything going on right now, why they're on strike. Now back to the Twilight Zone. I loved the original and checked out the new version and thought it was okay, but loved Season 1, Episode 3, and Season 2, Episode 10. Honestly, that final episode was a masterpiece and a perfect companion piece to the original To Serve Man. So I'm so glad that it exists. Luckily, the show is still available to buy on iTunes, etc., and currently streaming on Freevee. So they removed a once CBS All Access original, then rebranded to a Paramount Plus original, to now a free streaming service. What? Yes, this is all in part because streaming is losing a ton of money, but most of the removals are tax write-off and never seen or heard from again. Some are fortunate enough to stream somewhere, but others aren't so lucky. Now let's talk about Disney Plus and their awful decisions. So sadly, Bob Iger is now a follower of David Zaslav, and I blame him for starting this. It's almost as if he invented a new way to save money. Because, remember, they're getting out of paying residuals. But long before Zazie started this new awful trend, there was cable TV. If you missed it, you missed it. And if it didn't do well, they stopped selling the tape, so it's pretty much lost media. Now back to the present. Disney Plus has removed Willow, Big Shot, The Mysterious Benedict Society, Clouds, Black Beauty, and more. Funny enough, the latter two were produced by Warner Brothers and sold to Disney, and also The Right Stuff, which I thought was fantastic. Something different, and they went ahead and removed it. If you thought that was the end, well, there's more. Just last month, they removed Crater, Alaska Daily, The Runaways, and more. I can't even fathom removing a 3-season-long Marvel show. Like, what? Also, removing Crater was made by the producers of Stranger Things, one of the biggest shows in the world right now. It's just so stupid. And they only gave it, like, a month. Like, they didn't even, like, I can't fathom it. This is all in part due to them losing a ton of money, but Disney Plus and Hulu are set to combine by the end of September, and that alone will save them a lot. So I get removing content because no one's watching it, but some of this Willow. People watch. I loved that show. Imagine if it was licensed to Netflix. Maybe it wouldn't have gotten canceled. So recently the writers have gone on strike and now the actors have joined, as they should. It would have been horrible had the actors not joined. But what's really horrible is they extended it just so they can shoot a bunch of stuff to promote their movies. Like, pay your writers and actors. Like, hello. And now they're granting special waivers for those that actually grant what they want. So eventually, though, they're going to have to sort this out. So, but it should be a lot faster now that the actors have joined, because they basically can't do anything except documentaries and reality TV. They get so much less money on streaming because there aren't rules the same way as cable. And much like the ScarJo lawsuit, they're demanding a piece of that pie, as they should. I'm so happy she won against Disney. She didn't get as much as she wanted, but she stood her ground, and now's your time, actors and writers. Stay strong. Hopefully soon they'll give in, as they should. Now I just want to leave you with this horrible thing Bob Iger said. I can't believe he said, "You're not being realistic," but hey, I guess he's rich, so stand your ground. And hope to see How I Met Your Father renewed for a third season and another 20 episodes. Like, that's what they should be doing. They should be doing more of those 22 episode seasons. I mean, I'll take 20. That's a lot better than what they're doing. Because a lot of these streaming shows are too short. It's like 6 to 8 episodes. That's fine for certain things, like for a limited series. Like, you know, Love and Death. If you haven't watched it, amazing. She was so robbed in that at the Emmy. Like, that was the best performance of her career. She was outstanding in that show. She was fantastic. If you have not seen Love and Death, please go watch it on Max. So incredible. But yeah, so less episodes are good for certain things, like Love and Death, A Small Light. You should also check that out. It's fantastic. It's available on Disney Plus and Hulu. And so all right, that's it for me. Like, subscribe, and turn on that bell icon so you never miss a new video. Bye.